We are now recording the August 25th, 2017 Small Business Accounting Advisors. Hello, everybody. And Dennis is explaining his Star Tech. I was going to say Star Trek.
Yeah, if you have some extra monitors that aren't being used, you can actually create a third monitor, which I've done on a couple of computers. And you just get this external card and you plug the, I don't know if you can see my arrow or mouse, you can plug in the, let's see, you can plug the, you see the USB port, you can just plug it in, and then you got the VGA port that you can plug, and then you plug it into the monitor. So you, it connects your computer with your monitor via the USB port, and also plugs in, then you screw in your monitor cable, VGA cable, to the other end, VGA port there. And I've had pretty good luck with it. Like I say, I use 3 monitors, and it's really quite useful. Plus, I don't like having to take a computer, open up a computer and having to slide in a video card into one of the slots and then put the computer back together. So it's really easy. I mean, if I can do it, it's pretty easy.
So you just solved a problem for Jenny. Hey, she said that you solved the problem for presentation. She uses a Mac, and oftentimes the hardware for the projector is VGA. Awesome.
Well, if you have a USB port on the Mac, I suppose it would. I'm not sure. I think this is designed for Windows, but I would find out before.
What Jenny has. Jenny, let's unshare. Jenny is sharing something with us.
Okay, just a second. Let me. Stop share. Okay.
Okay.
I was just saying that I do have a USB on my MacBook, but that's a good point if it only works on Windows.
Because I'm assuming the software is sort of baked into that little port there. I would find that out before I did it.
You would have to look at the specs and make sure that it works with Mac.
Yeah.
What was it called again?
It's called StarTech.com.
Like Star Trek, only Star Tech.
StarTech. You can get it at Amazon for like $46.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. I'm just gonna put myself on mute. The kids just got home.
Well, it says there's one USB 3.0 VGA adapter for Mac and Windows. So I'm not sure if that's a MOLRED. So it might be another company, but it's on the same page as. Look, I'll share it again so you can see what I'm talking about.
Okay. Awesome.
Dennis, just to review, the port that goes to your computer, the one that you want to drive the monitor with, that's the VGA?
Okay, the VGA, can you see my hand, my finger?
No.
No, you're not sharing.
Oh, okay. So
back to sharing again.
Okay.
And so with your computer, you have your computer hooked up regular with a monitor to the VGA port in the back of your computer, whether it's a desktop or a laptop, and then you use that device in addition to create a new VGA port that you can plug into your monitor.
It's basically a way of bridging. I mean, you plug in the. See, if I start moving this, it'll start. See right here. That's where
you're not sharing again.
I'm not. Huh.
No, we're just seeing you.
Oh, okay. Oh, I see. Okay.
There we go.
So here, this is for the Mac. I mean, if you read down here, it's a MOLRED USB to VGA adapter for Windows and Apple Mac. So that might be something Jenny would look at. I mean, I would check that
really well too.
I would check that out. I mean, compared to the StarTech. I mean, maybe I don't know for a fact that StarTech works for a Mac or not. So, but you can, find out. So anyway, the way it works is that you plug in the VGA cable to here, and then into your monitor, and this you plug into a USB port. And so it's sort of like
It'll turn your USB port into a VGA port.
yeah, essentially. And it's a lot easier than having to, like I say, open up your computer and install a VGA video card or VGA card into the slot, and then close it back up. So I'm just kind of lazy. I don't like taking computers apart because I'm kind of clumsy, and I'm not really that, I'm afraid I might screw something up. So I'd rather have something really simple.
Absolutely, and it'll work for not only desktops but laptops too.
Apparently. I'm sure you could probably go to YouTube and find out more information with the video. I'm sure there's probably videos out there on it, and there might be just generic videos. But yeah, I didn't even know this thing existed until about a year ago, and I thought, wow, this. I think I started searching just to. I think someone had told me about an external VGA port, so I thought, oh, okay. And I've used it. I've got like about 3 of my. Because like I have a couple monitors that are not VGA, but they're something else, but I wanted to convert them into a VGA, so I do it that way too.
Oh, okay. So you put a little adapter to the VGA port.
Well, yeah, it's like you can make it look like a VGA rather than...
Right. Awesome.
Great idea.
Great idea. Yeah, I've given up using 2 monitors. Only because I still have a Windows 7 computer, believe it or not.
Mm-hmm.
The reason why I have a Windows 7 computer, and I hope
keep it.
I know, is Windows Media Player. When they went to Windows 8, they really dumbed that down, and I liked the old. I used it a lot. I kept a lot of music on it. You're able to convert to MP4s and have your own little music sticks that you can take places, and you just can't do that with the new media player.
Yeah, I've got a Windows 7, but it's because it wouldn't convert to a Windows 10. And every time I tried it, it screwed something up. So I thought, well, I'll just
Keep it.
I haven't used it for probably about 6-9 months.
You better turn it on. Make sure it still works.
Yeah, one of these days.
And I also have my laptop beside me, so I'm in the three monitor realm. We still are nothing compared to Deb Kilsheimer.
Was she have about 10 or something like that?
I know she has at least 4, maybe.
Well, there's this one guy I know that I went to his office. I think he had like 6. It was just unbelievably like mounted on like a wall or kind of like a frame, like.
That is a person that is not going to get used to mobile apps.
Yeah.
That is just something you can't do with a telephone. Bye, Jenny. It was good to see you.
We got some good knowledge.
Yeah. Helped her out in the 2 minutes she was here. That's great.
Yeah.
I was hoping we would see some people and talk about other things than accounting today. I wanted to talk about the eclipse. There were a couple people.
I watched it on TV.
You watched it on TV?
Yeah, I wasn't about to drive down to Oregon and with all the other people down there.
Well, that's Sarah Prevo's territory.
Yeah, I know. I haven't seen her for a while. I haven't seen her since August 1st when I saw her in Seattle.
Oh, okay. When you actually met her live.
Yeah, in real life.
IRL, in real life.
IRL, yeah. Yeah, that was interesting.
I know Sarah saw it. She was at Myrtle Beach, and then is it Charleston, South Carolina? So, and that was actually a trip I wanted to take, but had to be canceled. So I'm anxious. And she really did something awesome. She went to a university, and there were a bunch of kids there. So that was awesome. I know Deb Kilsheimer, she's a little traveler, these days.
Yeah,
So
I
I
saw
know
that.
she saw it. But I was stuck doing the pinhole thing. So I did see it. Nothing like real life or the real total eclipse, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Hi, Linda.
Hi, how are you? I was napping.
Did you see the eclipse?
No, I wasn't where I watched it on NASA.gov. So
Mhm.
it was really neat. We saw it in Oregon and we saw it in Nebraska and we saw it in Tennessee and we saw it in Carolina.
Yeah, I took my little tablet around with me and had NASA on everywhere I went on Monday.
I watched it for Oregon and then for Wyoming, I guess it was. And I thought, well, I think I've seen enough. And it's not like it's going to be different the next time, you know.
Yeah, I saw the one that was back in 1970 when I was in New York.
Oh, okay.
I did notice that out here it was sunny. And I noticed it almost seemed a little bit like twilight. I mean, it was like somebody had a dimmer switch and just sort of dimmed it.
Dim things down a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, that's what it seemed like.
Did the temperature drop for you?
Well, I was in my office, so I wasn't outside.
Oh, okay.
I just
It
sort of looked out the
did for
window.
me. It did for
Office.
me. I was surprised.
I was at the doctor's office for part of it, and one lady complained and pointed to a sign on the wall saying that we weren't supposed to have our cell phones on in the office.
Oh, wow, not even for that.
What, did people have
Yeah,
pacemakers or
because
something?
I saw her looking at me, and I said, "Would you like me to come over there and show it to you?" Well, we're not supposed to have our cell phones on here. See the sign on the wall? I'm not sure that it means during an eclipse.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Or
Especially during an eclipse.
Whatever. It was fine. Things like that don't upset me anymore. It means what it means. That it really doesn't mean anything. Maybe they think that it's really important to obey all the laws all the time. I used to think that.
more important to live life.
I did have a interesting solution to a QuickBooks problem.
Is
And I
this
think I ought to write it up.
the rule for deposit?
And I haven't gotten an answer to that. It looks like you can't do deposits.
I don't think you can. I don't think that you can create a rule for money coming in like income. I think you can only create the rules for when the bank feeds are downloaded and it's an expense.
Hmm.
That's what it appears to be. I don't use bank feeds myself, so but I know that with QuickBooks for Mac, I know we did bank feeds there, and I know we coded it as sales income, and it would all the deposits that came in would get coded as sales income, and I don't know why.
Now, if you always use the same income account and don't have different accounts, it will remember last transaction. But I don't think that there's a specific bank rule for that.
Oh, so maybe she has to go to Edit Preferences General and say, remember last transaction with this name.
Right. That may help if she's using the same income account all the time.
Pretty much she is. She's an insurance. I'm trying to think because there was another client we did, and every deposit was just always commission income. And what happens is with insurance companies, they actually have some kind of like a trust account, and money goes in and out of the trust account all the time.
Right, like a lawyer's IOLTA.
Right, and the insurance company I worked for, never tracked. We didn't even have that trust account in the thing. It just when it would get transferred every so often from that account into the main checking account, that's when we would call it commission income.
Got it.
And all income was always commission income.
Got it. So what solution did you find?
this is really interesting. You know how if inventory goes negative, it gives you an incorrect cost of goods sold on your reports with QuickBooks Desktop because it's average?
Right.
So the way you fix it when this happens is I went and I printed every single invoice that they had sold this with. And so we had a copy of each invoice. Now, on a lot of the invoices, there was a lot more information on those invoices than just that particular product. Some of them just sold that product, but some of them sold that product and other products on them too. So what I would do then, I would go back and I would, for every invoice that caused it to turn negative, I would put in 0 for what was sold of that product. So there was nothing sold of that product, and then I would save it. Now, a lot of these invoices also had, they had discounts on them, big discounts, that would cause the invoice to go negative as soon as you took that product off. So we would then, and I worked this out with the staff people, because I was going to originally delete every invoice and then re-enter them all. And she said, well, why not just 0 that product and leave everything else in? Well, where the big discount was, we would just take the minus off of it and leave it as a plus. Because we had printed out all the invoices, so we knew what they were supposed to look like. Now, obviously, when you lower it, and there's a payment applied, obviously it's overpaid, you know, but that's okay. That's not a problem. So you go back until and then you go and add in what they paid for. You add the inventory, you do an inventory adjustment. And the other thing that was really crazy about this one, it went back to the previous fiscal year. But it turns out when we bought the product in the previous fiscal year, we had coded it to
Something
an
else?
asset account, an other current asset account to research and develop new product. So it was all sitting in there. So then what I did was I transferred it from research and develop new product on a day in the new fiscal year, which happened to be, there was another day when something went in there, and it was like November 14th, 2016. So then what I did was I journaled entered it on that day, November 16th, over to cost of goods sold. And then I went and I did an inventory adjustment showing that we had bought 17,000 of this inventory on this day, 11/14/2016. And then I went back through and put the product back in so that the inventory part never went negative. So that's how we fixed it. And it took about an hour. Now, it did take us like a week or two of thinking about it and how do we want to do it and what's going to work the best way to do this and how are we going to not mess up last fiscal year.
Right,
So,
right.
but I thought it was really a brilliant solution, and I loved the fact that the lady said, well, let's not delete the whole invoice and put it back in. Let's just 0 that product. And it turned out there were 3 very large orders. There were like 8 orders altogether, but most of them were like 2. They're these special sponges that black people use on their hair to curl their hair or uncurl their hair or something. And so it was only 3 invoices we had to change.
Okay.
And change them back.
Nice, nice.
And-
Glad you could find that solution.
Yeah, so I thought I should probably write that up somewhere, put it on my webpage or something, because that's
Oh,
kind
yeah,
of a
do
neat
a blog on it.
Yeah,
How to fix past inventory problems.
right. A quick, easy way to do it. So, yeah. So that
the
was
other
nice.
thing I wanted to talk to
And I've tried.
Go ahead.
No, I tried to point out to the people who knew about it that it's important they give that paperwork to the staff so they know that.
Right, right. And not to let inventory go negative again because,
I guess they just thought the staff knew it and didn't understand that the staff didn't know it.
of course, they don't. They're just doing what they're told in data entry.
Is really, really good, because I mean, I've hammered on them about don't let your inventory go negative.
And
So
now
if
they understand.
inventory going negative, they come to me right away and they say, it's going negative. We don't know what happened. You know, well, let's figure that out. Yeah. Now, what else were you going to say?
Microsoft Office. You were asking which version to put on your laptop. Have you decided?
Well, I signed up for a free trial, which is a 30-day trial. And I believe the one they gave me was home. I don't know.
Okay.
So, but it's funny, but it's not a good question for those forums because nobody answered it.
Well, everybody's different. And you know, I don't think people even look at what they have or know what they have unless they're buying a new computer, honestly. You know,
Right. What do you use?
I have the student version on my desktop.
Aha.
I
Okay.
have nothing on my laptops and use Google Docs.
Got it.
I don't use any kind of Office 365 because, like you, I'm mostly in Word and Excel. I do use Outlook.com for one of my personal emails. So I really don't need the whole big, you know, Outlook on my computer.
Right.
So I've pretty much moved over to Google and not really doing Office a lot, but I don't really feel like I want to give up Word and Excel just yet.
Right.
You know, I'm still comfortable using that, and I still feel like they are more powerful than the Google Docs.
Yeah,
So,
especially Excel.
especially Excel, right. So there are times when I can work on my computer and be in Excel and save it to my Google Docs and open it on my laptop. Or if I'm on my laptop and not at the computer, which stays at home, I can log into my desktop at home and log into my window or my Word and my Excel. So once upon a time, I used to think that when you got a computer, you needed Office. If you were in business, you needed Office. Not so much anymore. And so I think it's a good question.
Yeah. Well, and the thing that threw me was when I forget what I was doing, but on the laptop, they kept trying to sell me Office 365.
Of course.
And I kept chatting with whatever machine was there. And I kept asking, what is the price? What is the price? How much does it cost? And they kept saying, there is no price, there is no cost. It's a free trial. And I said, I don't care about the free trial. I want to know what the price when the free trial is done.
What happens when the free trial is done?
It was like, it was programmed to refuse to answer that question. I was actually getting pretty angry. And then they said, this is silly, getting angry at a computer that won't. So I went to the other computer. I went to my other computer where I have Microsoft and I have Office, I think Professional, but I don't have Access. So, and it's 2013. I won it I took a webinar and I won it there and I got it and installed it. But I noticed when I look back at the license says it's for one computer.
Right.
It doesn't say it's for one user. It says it's for one computer. So I didn't want to try to load it again and then have them both screw up. So, so I bought it. I'll probably just go with one that has Word, Excel, and Outlook on it. I don't know, you know, for sure. I really want to use Google Calendar, I think.
Google Calendar?
Yeah, I think so. because,
I stopped using Outlook
but I
about
might
5 years ago.
Really, I never used it. I've never used Outlook.
I did for a while, but it was so flaky that.
Well, that was my problem too. The program would be great if it did what it was supposed to do. And that's why it's difficult to learn, because you don't know what to expect until you get it, and the results may not be what's supposed to happen. So how do you know? You're on quicksand. You don't, you know?
Right, right. So it's funny. Anyway.
On one of my computers, I went with, was it Office, Home and Business? You get Excel and Word, and that's it.
Yeah.
So, I'm thinking, I don't think I need Outlook. I'm hoping I'm not going to need it.
I think if you use Google Calendar, you don't need Outlook.
Right. It's every bit as good as the Outlook calendar. I did use Outlook for a long time for both email and the calendar. I've had to buy a calendar for a very long time. In this type of business, I think, and doing consulting, you need calendars. My calendar is my life.
Yeah.
If I were still using Microsoft, I would want the 365 for the calendar, because I've gotten so used to being able to go to Google Calendars on any computer, anywhere that I'm at, and even, you know, on my phones, on my tablets, on everything, you know, so I can't see going back to Outlook for the calendar at all. I mean, you've got the color coding, you've got everything, and you can do multiple calendars also. You can with Outlook, and I started to get into that. I just think it's easier on Google to do it than it was on Outlook. And as far as
on Google, you can have all your contacts. Then you have your calendar and your contacts there.
Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. Absolutely, and you can do, you know, groups and everything that I have found that I needed, that I used from Outlook, I can do on Google the same.
Okay, got it. Yeah, I'm thinking that I very well might go that way. I did buy the Outlook 365, and basically I think it may be just a home one, but it might be, I'll go with the home and business that Larry's got, which is just Word and Excel, which is really all I think I need, and then make sure everything's on Google. It's really, the other thing that's very interesting about is like when I bought Office 365, it's good for like all of your devices. It's good for your laptop. It's good for your desktop. It's good for your phone. So, but then I had to go find my account and figure out where do I add my phone over to it.
Right.
But it was like, it's just really interesting because it's like somehow the universe knows who you are and what belongs to you.
Well, I'm going to change that and say Google knows who I am and where I am. I have looked, if you are interested, you should go on Google and look at your history. You'll be amazed at how much Google actually knows about you.
I'm sure. Well, if you go Google my name, Linda QBQ Russell, it's like there's like, I don't know how many pages, you know, of stuff.
No, I'm talking about me specifically, and where specifically I have been. Well, I also do the Google Guides too. So I do turn on locations, and there are places that I do say I am here, and I do reviews for it and that kind of thing.
Yes.
Even before I did that, I found Google history. I don't even know what I was doing or how I found it. And I went and looked through it, and there are years of history that Google has on me. And they could tell me dates and places I've been, things that I don't remember myself.
Wow.
Yep. Yeah.
The machines are taking over. I visited my UPS buddy. Guy has a UPS store, and he's gonna sell his business. He's gonna pack it in and go to Florida, I guess. He said what he sees coming down the pipe is they're gonna have these drop-off boxes. In other words, you at home are going to print your label and so forth and pay for it and whatever and put it on your box, and you're just going to go take it to some drop-off place, and then they'll handle it from there. As far as the shipping goes, the truck pulls up and
You can actually do that now. I mean, and you can do it through QuickBooks too. You can set QuickBooks up for both FedEx and UPS, where you can print the labels and just take them to the drop box.
I know we used to do that with the FedEx and then drop it in the box.
Yep.
And that, that was fine. But I never thought of it, but I guess, it seems like they'd have to have a sizable area. You ever see some of the boxes in those UPS stores there?
Well, that's been my problem with the drop-off box too. Sometimes my boxes don't fit.
Yeah.
So I wonder if we're all going to have our own personal drones to take packages, as well as getting deliveries.
Yeah.
So what's your excuse when your drone crashes into another drone?
Or somebody shoots it with that
a hostile competitor shoots
the
down your
jamming
drone.
device. Oh my gosh, we'll have drone wars.
I'm sure it's another couple of years before they start weaponizing these drones.
Oh boy.
Please, I don't even want to go there. I'm sure
It's bad enough for the cars now.
I'm sure the military has it.
Driverless cars. That's a little bit scary, but
Very scary.
Amazon's going to take over Whole Foods and lower the prices. So I may go back there. I stopped going there because their prices were too high.
Right.
Well, that's their plan, isn't to automate as much as possible. I mean, they had a test store in Seattle where you could just go in, and I think that you just use your smartphone to pay for things. I don't think they had any cashiers, and I would think that a lot of the stuff, I mean, like, for example, grocery stores usually stock the food at night, so I'm sure you could get drones, or not drones, but like these robots that would stock the shelves for you at night. And it seems like retail and manufacturing with 3D printing is getting squeezed, or will get squeezed. So it's like, what are all these people going to do in the future for work?
Yeah, it is going to be a lot less manual. Warehousing is being revolutionized, as we talk about now. I mean, there are systems, that automate absolutely everything. You just push a little button, put the code in. This is what I want. It knows that it lives in this aisle on this shelf, and it'll go fetch it for you and bring it back.
Yep.
Crazy.
Oh, I did have one question just to go back. Linda, the Office 365, does that mean the bulk of the software is going to be up in the cloud, not on your local computer, you think?
Yes, that's exactly what it means.
Oh, okay.
Well, I know I have Office 365, and like Excel is up in the clouds, but the more powerful version of Excel is on the desktop still. And I think, for example, like Power Pivot and the things that are really more computer intensive are still down on your desktop.
It has to be because of the computing power.
But, at some point in time, it's going to come off the desktop.
I agree.
Yeah, it's just a question of when. I don't think it's going to happen as fast as they think. They want to do things real fast, but
that's because they want to make money.
Well, the problem is you're dealing with human nature, and most human nature is very resistant to change, especially the older you are, the more resistant in general, because you've built up ways that your brain's comfortable with, and
But I want to say the younger generation knows how to do everything on their cell phone, but they don't know what to do on a computer. And I have run into that a lot, honestly. Put them in front of an Excel sheet and they're like, what?
Well, I had an experience one time at an ice cream shop where I wanted, like, I didn't want a lot of extra change, so I gave the clerk, $1, I think like 25 cents, and they couldn't figure out manually how to give me change because it was like $9.98 or some crazy thing, and they couldn't figure it on their computer, and so I'm thinking, my God, whatever happens when we lose.
The computers do that, but that computer didn't, evidently. You know. I usually will, when I do that, I usually explain it to them. Because I realize
that they just don't know. I want a quarter.
So if I owe $2.60, and I'll give them $3.10.
Yeah, right.
Okay?
You want to get the 50 cents back.
I need 50 cents change because that extra 10 cents paid 10 cents between $2.50 and $2.60. And that's why you can give me 50 cents change.
And so quarters work better than
I don't know if they teach that in school or not.
Well, it doesn't much matter. What if the power ever goes out? We're going to be so priceless. It's going to be funny because we can.
Not me. I live in Amish country. They laugh at us when the power goes out.
Of course they do. Yeah, because they know how to live without power.
Oh my gosh. I think when Hurricane Katrina came, the Amish country community had found out about this. So they were sending down, I don't know if you've seen those Home Depot buckets,
No.
The big 5-gallon buckets. They would take those buckets and they would put things in there like hammer, twine, duct tape, things that they know that, these are their handyman essential things. And they would send them up and they would say, well, you can fix things with everything that's inside. And the bucket not only is a bucket, but you can turn it upside down. It's a stool.
You can sit on it.
They had multiple uses for everything that they sent. So, yeah.
So Amish, are they clustered in certain communities, or are they just widely diffused throughout the county, or what? Are they in multiple counties, or what?
Well, they're a lot more prevalent than what you think. They're not just in one community, or in Pennsylvania.
There's some
they're pretty concentrated in Lancaster County. Then there'll be another concentration that's somewhere in Maryland, and they all live together. And their community, they have as good communication as we do with our cell phones today.
Yeah.
So, and
yes,
trust is big for them. That's another thing, and that's why they have word of mouth. If somebody needs something, they'll go to their brother Amos and they'll say, have you had this problem? What did you do and who did you use? And they'll all use the same people.
A word of mouth Facebook.
Absolutely. So, yeah.
And I'll tell you, if you need a barn built in one day,
pardon?
If you need a barn built in one day,
oh, absolutely.
They're the people to do it.
Absolutely. There are good things and there are bad things. They don't believe in lawyers. They don't believe in doctors. I know. There's so much advancement in that area. But it's a different way of thinking.
Speaking of not believing in doctors, it reminds me that the church, it's like Science of the Mind or something church, they have headquarters in Boston. And they have a huge, I don't know, like 30-foot globe made out of stained glass that you can walk through.
Wow.
Is that the Christian Scientist?
Yeah, I think it's a Christian Scientist. I decided that it costs like $20 or $30 to do it, and I thought, no, I'm not that interested. I think I've decided I'm going to go to the Old North Church, and I'm going to eat lobster. But because I'm going there in less than 2 weeks, I'm kind of trying to figure out. I'll mainly be at the conference the whole time. But, and I remember we were at the Sleater conference together, Gina, and that was kind of neat. Hi, Misha.
Hi,
Welcome.
Misha.
Hi.
And so I'm just trying to look for something a little out of the way, and I really have decided I don't really want to go do the Witches of Salem tour. It's kind of a quirky tour too, but it's kind of interesting looking online to find things that are a little bit unusual.
Right, right. So Misha, I'm glad you joined us. I had a topic for you too.
You did?
I did.
Okay.
How did you make out on your background checks? You were looking for recommendations.
Because I joined SHRM, the Society of Human Resource Management, this week is a couple weeks ago. I searched their vendor list and I ended up I'm going to go with Good Hire.
Okay.
One of the key things that I was looking for was it easy to tell how much it was going to cost? It's a simple thing, but if I can't pull it up and you tell me how much it's going to cost, if I have to go search, if it's going to take me 10 minutes to find the pricing page.
Linda just had that problem with Microsoft Office, as a matter of fact.
Oh yeah, Microsoft Office. You're better off going through a licensed vendor partner of Microsoft. Don't even bother going on Microsoft.com. It's crazy.
Well, they wouldn't give me a price for Office 365. I kept asking and to the chat people, and then they'd say, does that answer your question? I'd say, no. Well, there's no price. There's no cost. It's free. And I'm going like, no, at the end of the free trial, how much does it cost?
Well, I pay like about.
I'll tell you right now, it is, I want to say $4.95 per user per month.
Well, I pay like $14 a month for the professional version. It has like access and
But you are a
OneDrive.
big Access user.
I'm sorry. Yeah, the Office Office 365 email. That's what I was talking about. Not Office. Not where it has the software in there too. I think that could be more. But like
Yeah.
GoDaddy has a plan. This Office 365, you can get it through them. There's a lot of, you know what I mean? There's a lot of different ways to kind of go about it. I know Google is comparable if you're looking for email, and then you get all of the, Google things, the Google Sheets and all of that. But I was really just looking for email. I wasn't really looking for Word, Excel, PowerPoint, and all that because I have all that. I have the 2010, and I just was looking for email. So the email was just $4.95 a month per user.
Right.
I've always found Microsoft, their pricing and their products very confusing. They seem to have a lot of different products that are very similar, and it's really hard to figure out what you're getting. And it's hard, and you don't really want to call in India to talk to somebody in support,
Right, right. Okay, well, I had a Bill.com experience, Bill.com and QuickBooks Online. I know we've talked a little bit about QuickBooks Online merging with Bill.com and allowing people to use their free version of the Bill.com. So I wanted to see exactly what it was like, what the setup, what you had to do for setup and what you had to do for everything. So I have a little business that I have with my sister, and I used that, and I didn't go in as the accountant. I went in as a user, and I used my sister's name. With her permission, she knew exactly what I was doing. And I set it up, and I set it up for the free version to see, what can you do, what's different about the free version, what's different about the pay version. To set up the free version, they ask all kinds of personal questions, and they do that verification, and whatever verification process they use, they asked her about her ex-husband's new wife. like she was supposed to know. Same thing they did for me. Like, what's her birthday? I don't know. I don't send her a birthday card. You know what I mean? I'm friends with her, but I'm not sending her a birthday card every year.
Yeah, just call her up and say, hey, by the way, can you tell me what your birthday is?
Well, for my sister, it was, what previous county did she live in? She's like, I have no idea. You know,
I think they're probably trying to check.
You know
They're
what,
trying to check
Gina?
the other records.
Those questions are not, those questions are public record questions.
I
Yeah.
understand, but Misha, how much more public can I
No,
be?
I know, but I'm
If
saying
they
like,
have to ask about my ex-husband's wife.
right, but that's what I'm saying. For whatever reason,
The whole
is attached.
internet and
Yeah.
all the things that I do on the internet, that's all they could find to ask me?
I honestly don't know, but I do know like you're getting more and more of those types of security questions. Like,
Oh,
you know,
I agree.
what was the make and model? Did you own this make and model car?
Right.
You know, stuff like that. And I'm like, what the
And
hell?
I can understand that. I've owned lots of cars. I you know,
Not sure why they would want to know that, but
It's so long.
yeah, the whole list of things that I've done online or in public. I've owned buildings, I've owned businesses. Ask me about those things. Don't ask me about my husband's ex-wife. I'm just saying. And they did that for my sister too. So,
That's
okay,
odd.
we got over that hump and I said, okay, I've got everything set up. So now I'm going to try to do, I'm going to try and pay some people. So I tried to pay her and me. Well, she got this email from Bill.com that said, thank you for joining. We're happy to set up your new account. But in order to set up your new account, we need your letter from the IRS with your EIN number, the articles of incorporation for your business, your last year's financials, something from the bank, and if we can't get that, we need a letter from the bank. I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't imagine
That.
not one of my clients doing all of that so that they could have automatic bill pay for free.
they're gonna.
That's
did you
probably to
ask them
get
if
you.
they were gonna come over and clean your bathroom too.
And they wanted it by 4:00 that afternoon.
Whatever. I guess I never got into the bill.com. I don't know. I tried to, remember when they were offering it for pros?
Right.
I realized it was a dashboard. It wasn't even like the actual app. It was like a accountant. It was a free
And it really wasn't free for the pros anyway.
Yeah.
So you did end up paying. But I do have clients that are on it, and the clients are bigger and have bigger accounts payable needs.
Yeah.
And as far as maintaining the accounts payable process, for me, it really does work. But at some point, you get to a point, if you're writing 10 checks a month, it's just not worth it. If you're writing 75 checks a month, then it makes sense to have that process in place.
So there's a break even, or
There's a break even, right. And again, if you're writing 75 checks, the savings did not actually purchase checks and envelopes and stamps is significant too. So there is that savings where you're not doing the, licking, stamping, whatever. So I do like Bill.com. I was just interested in seeing exactly what it was going to do for my clients. And I had a few clients that I thought I'd like to recommend it to. My lips stayed sealed. I'm not putting my clients through that.
Do they even realize, see, that's the thing. Whenever I talk to these vendors on the phone, especially if, they're doing stuff that doesn't seem to make any sense. I always tell them, I'm like, do y'all realize that we as a group talk to each other? And we
Well,
have.
I was kind of doing it on the sly. I will say
No,
that.
no, no. I'm saying like, I literally said this to one person I was talking to. I was like, do y'all know that we talk about y'all and we compare notes on how bad y'all are? You know that? I'm like, we're telling other professionals, hey, this is the bad experience I had. That goes around.
Yeah, you wouldn't want to buy that. You wouldn't want to buy that kind of publicity.
I know. I'm like, I'm a part of like a whole bunch of groups. And if I have, I'm gonna tell everybody how bad it was.
Internet just kind of
And then they were
magnifies it too.
Oh, we understand. We'll, we appreciate your feedback. And I'm like, y'all really should actually like talk to the people who are using the product.
One would think that they should do that as part of a study, wouldn't one?
You figure. But then again, I find that we, as accountants, at least this new generation of accountants, we take apps and we do things with them that they weren't meant to be done.
Well, there's that too.
It wasn't made to be done like that. The developers was not even in that whole line of thought when they designed whatever they designed, but we just kind of take it to the next level. Because I know there's several apps that I am not even using it the way I don't think it was intended to be used, but I'm using it and it works.
That's all that counts. That's all
exactly.
that counts.
So I've been putting it out there to them. I'm like, look, y'all don't even realize that we'll take what you've given us and we'll take it to them. We'll turn it into some put some steroids to it and blast around.
Use it for our needs, not what you think our needs.
Exactly.
I wonder if that new company that Seth introduced, the Bill Bees.
Oh, okay.
I wonder if they perform a similar function, and if it's, cost effective.
They are similar. I don't know exactly what the differences are, but I just know that Bill.com, actually I was in QBO, and I was in QBO as a user instead of an accountant.
Right.
And I got that notice saying, would you like to try Bill.com? And I said, oh, well, maybe I would. Let's see what happens. And I found out.
Or do they try to make it so frustrating for the free version? You just say, I'll get the paid version.
I
would
don't
think
know
not.
if it was an issue. It was more a security issue. And I
Yeah.
do understand that they need to be secure. And I do understand that they need to know people are who they say they are. So the whole security issues and security questions, I get that. I do get that.
Do they give you like a list, say something like, before you start, we're going to need the following?
No, I didn't get any of that. It was, try us out. We're easy to use.
Because I mean, like you might say, oh, okay, well, it's nice you tell me up front, so I either don't waste my time getting halfway through this thing.
Right.
I've had it with
right.
this,
Right. Well, they are assuming that people have incorporation, articles of incorporation. Not every LLC does. Not every, no sole proprietors do. So,
Exactly.
there's a different level of thinking there.
Or they even have ready access to it. If they do, it might be in a file cabinet somewhere.
Right, exactly, to be demanding this thing by 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So yeah, just that fact alone was like, I don't know that I deal well with demands like that.
Well, I would get more frustrated after about the third question.
Yeah.
I'd say, yeah, I don't know if I do this or not.
Yeah, I think I'll go right to my bank account and use their bill pay program. It's FREE.
Well, I just go to the vendor that I'm paying, and I actually pay it on their website.
And you can do that too. You can do that.
And I like that better. I've used bank bill pays, but like you don't know what bill pay you're bank is using, nor if they're actually writing a check that I found out my check was writing checks and mailing them in New York City.
Oh, okay.
And they weren't getting to Phoenix, Arizona to pay my credit card on time.
Ah,
So then I get a $35 late fee. Excuse me.
right.
So I just learned I go right to who I'm paying and I say, there, I'm paying this bill, and then I have my 2 bank accounts there, and I choose which one I want to pay it with. And then it's done.
Absolutely.
I'm sure you could probably set up an automatic too, I would think, on their bank site.
You could, but
would
there are
think.
bills that aren't the same amount every time. And I want to make sure, like Pico has a habit of every once in a while spitting out some kind of extra zero on the bill they send you for whatever reason. And I don't want to bankrupt my bank account just for that.
Yeah, get your
Yeah,
$35
right, I hear you.
overdraft charge.
I don't do auto pay particularly.
Yeah.
I think there's places and times when it's wise to do auto pay, but I think I do this really weird thing. Whenever I pay a credit card, I pay it. So when I pay I always pay it so the balance is going to end in 00.
Oh, okay. Right.
When I look at the new statement and it tells me how much I owe, I know that the last 4 digits there are the interest that was on it that month.
Yep.
It's just a silly, stupid thing I do, and to me, I love it.
Right.
So,
Right.
and occasionally, if things are really tight cash flow wise, I'll pay $50 and the interest so that it takes it down to ending in 50.
Right.
But that's rare. So, anyway.
All righty. Well, we are about out of time. Any other questions before we end for today?
I had an interesting problem with one of my tax clients.
Oh, Dennis, you always do. Please tell.
Well, I was a little suspicious when I saw a $35,000 sales tax expense, since sales tax is a liability, not an expense. So I started digging deep into the QuickBooks file. I finally figured out that they hadn't set up, they weren't collecting sales tax, so they were paying sales tax, but they weren't collecting it, except that they were sort of collecting it on their income, so it all went to income as opposed to
I have a lot of clients to do that.
So I found out what they were, and so I got copies of the state, from the Department of Revenue, the state B&O and sales tax expense, and saw that they'd actually broken it down between, so in the state of Washington, they have the B&O tax and the sales tax payable on one form, and so you always have to go in and allocate part of the check to B&O tax and the other part to the payable. And so I figured out how much, based on their returns, I figured out how much they, would go to B&O tax. And so what I'm going to have to do is go in and debit the income and credit the sales tax, and then turn around and debit the sales tax and credit the sales tax expense. So basically they've grossed up their expense and their income.
Right. Wow. So, bottom line, still the same, but yes, you're right.
Yes. I have a client that insists on that, and since they don't track sales tax in QuickBooks and it's in another software, I just go ahead and let them do it now. But they want to try to say, oh, there was another lady that she does it. It's a question of how are they tracking their sales tax, and a lot of times it's in another software program. And if they're doing that, that's fine, and just go ahead and count it. But what's happening is some of the money you're putting in your bank account, which you're calling sales income, is not really sales tax liability.
Yeah,
actually money that you're holding for the state to give them.
What I recommend is that you
the state always owns it. You're just holding it for the state.
Well, I always tell my clients if it's significant to basically move it to like a savings account, because I had a client one time that was co-mingling and he was overdrafting his operating account. So by definition, he was overdrafting. He was using sales tax funds to pay operating expenses. So he's getting hit with these $35 per occurrence. He's losing about a couple $100 a month in NSF charges. You know,
I try and lose those clients, honestly. I had one of them, and I had a heart-to-heart with them, and you know, oh, but I make money. I'm like, I can't. Yeah, I don't understand why you're giving the bank hundreds of dollars when you don't need to.
well, he kind of lost himself. He went out of business, so it's like, yeah, it's.
We lost Linda. Okay, well, it's about time to go. We will see you same time, same place next week. Have a great weekend, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.